Signs, signs everywhere, signs. Signs for your business and signs for your ride. SignBros is the place where we make your signs. Hello.
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 Welcome to the SignBroCast. We are the SignBros. We're all up in your business. Make sure to subscribe on the link below. We have a special guest, Mr. Julio Alcala from XR Imaging.
Yes,
Yay.
thanks for coming, man.
Welcome
Thanks
to
for
our
the
show.
invite. Thanks for the invitation.
You got it.
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Tell us about your new business that you opened a couple years ago.
Yes, 3 years ago. So it's XR Imaging. We're here in the east side of El Paso. We primarily conduct 3 imaging services. It's diagnostic imaging, so X-rays and ultrasounds.
Oh, nice.
And then we have a scanning service where it helps for individuals who are in the fitness or in the weight loss industry.
Scanning?
So scanning, yes. So it's we have this scanner where it scans the full body from head to toes.
Okay.
So we get a lot of information there, and then this information we teach it to the client so that they understand how their muscle symmetry is, their bone density, how much visceral fat they have, and then their overall body fat percentage. And this type of service is not like a scale, or you get on a scale and it gives you these numbers. It's a more detailed,
Like the science,
precise.
the
Yes,
science
yes.
of it.
It's a medical grade technology. So we do the scanning to first establish baselines, numbers, and then from there, like if the client is working with a personal coach or a nutritionist or weight loss doctor, we present this information to them, and then from there on, they go and execute on whatever they're gonna do, whether it's gonna be diet or nutrition, combination of both, or if they're gonna go into some hormone therapy or whatever the case they're gonna go to achieve their goals in terms of weight loss. We can track everything that has changed. So it's very valuable because you might think that most weight loss it's healthy, right? Like people say, okay, I have X amount of extra weight or excessive weight, so I'm gonna go into a nutrition or training to lose weight. And losing weight, they think, it's healthy, but that's not necessarily the case. So when we talk about weight can come from muscle, fat, and bone. So we have, and you'll see them here on the billboards or a bunch of or marketing where say, join our gym and we'll help you lose X amount of pounds of weight. So those trainings and programs are very effective in losing the weight. But if the individual is not tracking, and if some of that weight comes from the actual bone mineral content, then it's unhealthy. So on a very simple explanation, like let's just say that they lost 20 pounds of weight, but if at least a 20th of a pound comes from the bone, then they're making their bones weaker. So they wouldn't know that, right? Like they're like, oh, okay, I feel great, I look great, but and then they leave it at that. Now, then the machine will also let us know if the weight loss is effective. Like for instance, once again, if they lose 20 pounds, and then they lost out of those 20 pounds, let's just say that they didn't lose any bone, like the nutrition was on point, but out of those 20 pounds, they lost 10 pounds of of muscle, and then 10 pounds of fat. Well, you cannot call that an effective weight loss because you're losing 50-50, So what are the trainers, the nutritionists doing, or the client? Because sometimes the trainers are very good at giving the advice, but then the clients or us, we don't follow, right? We don't
cheat at
so
home.
So now we have the technology to track all of that and then provide the information to make accountability on both ends. The provider, the doctor, the trainer, and the client. And then there's a third-party individual in this particular case will be us, where we show the data, and I say, okay, great, you're doing awesome. You did a great composition change, and when I say composition is what the body's made out of, and then or not. So that's a scan that a service that I didn't initially contemplated going into because being an extra technology, I never had the training and the education on fitness and nutrition. So then I find the opportunity where I came exposed to the technology in other cities. They were doing it, and it's an extra equipment, so I know how to work it out. So I came back to town, and then I started looking in to see who were doing it here. And there's other equipment, DEXA machines, the scanners here in town, hospitals, other diagnostic centers have it, but they're not doing the composition because it's an analytical study. Insurances don't pay for it. So then, it will be a waste of time per se to hospitals to do that, or to diagnostic centers where they don't have an individual with composition certification to sit down and then have that one-on-one to the patient.
Gotcha.
So then I saw the opportunity, I took on it, and this is back in May 2016. And God, man, I thought, hey, this is great because like Austin, Houston, they have it. The closest one back then was Albuquerque. So then I'm like, no one in here in El Paso is doing it, so I'm just gonna go for it. It's like the idea and then just execute.
Nice.
So then, but I thought, I bring the machine, I open the doors, and they're gonna like
That's what a lot of people think when they open their business.
So it was a rough beginning, but
Yeah. So you're the only one in El Paso that has this machinery?
No.
Not anymore.
No. There's
Besides hospitals.
Hospitals, yeah, no.
Gotcha.
There's other X-ray. So this is what happens. The technology is called DEXA, and it's an acronym, DEXA. So it's a fancy terminology.
Sure.
Okay,
Is it Latin?
Yeah, no, not Latin. It's a dual energy X-ray absorptometry. So then we call it short for DEXA. So those machines. Have you guys seen the movie with Will Smith? I think Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness,
Yeah, it's where he wants to be in the market, right place, like he becoming a broker for big companies, but he started low, right? And then in his process of learning these the finances and the way the market works, he's selling these little machines. Do you guys know the movie?
I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, he's selling some kind of machinery.
Yeah, and then so then and this happened in the early 60s. So that's the first generation DEXA scanners. So then back then, the only way to actually measure the inside of the bones was with these little machines. So then they will sell them to doctors, right? They will have their desktops, and then they put them there on the office, and then the patient will go put in their hand, and then they will scan the wrist. And from the wrist, they will get the value. Well, with technology, it advanced to be able to scan the lumbar spine and the hip to get more accurate representation of how the bones were, right? So the DEXA technology evolved to now where we have like large tables where we scan the entire body, not just the wrist. So then to answer the question, yes, there's other DEXA scanners here in town, but they're only specific for spine and hip.
Areas.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So then the one that I have, it's full body, and then that's composition. Correct.
Wow.
Yes.
So it's one big machine that you invested in?
Yes. So when I came across these businesses that were doing this outside El Paso, I call a friend and that sells buys equipment from doctors, hospitals that are going out of business or they're gonna do an upgrade, and then he goes and buys equipment and then resells.
Sells them the new one. Yeah.
So I give him a call, and then he's like, "Yeah, man, I'll look. I'll keep you in mind." Well, in anticipation back then, I didn't have like a setup plan, like okay, I'm gonna do this first and then get and register the I didn't even have like the name of the business, right? So like 2 or 3 days later, he calls me, "Hey, Julio, there's this doctor."
Ready to go.
Oh, I didn't think you were gonna be
that's
so
fast,
soon.
right? So this doctor in Michigan, so he's got the machine, and pretty much, he presented me with the numbers. I'm like, I need to take on it, So then we got it, and then the process of registering the machine is quite lengthy. It's you deal with
registering the machines
with bureaucracy, because you have to get licensing and with the state, right? Cool. So then I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna get the machine and then put it on a commercial space, and then not being able to see patients or clients until I get the license. So to me, it didn't make sense having the machine in a place and not being able to see it, right? And then just paying rent.
Yeah.
So I put it on a storage and it was there for at least 6 months. So then one day, the state inspector calls me, right, and then he was like, "Oh, it's my name, and I'm from the state, and I'm here to inspect your equipment." I'm like, "Well, it's in storage," and then he goes, "Well, I need you to come in
dust it up."
No, let me. Well, he was like, "You submitted all the paperwork with your home address," and I go, "Yeah, because I explained my logic, right? But now it doesn't work like that, and like you gotta be on a commercial setting. So by the time that I go, it has to be already
Ready
ready
to
for
go.
me to check that
Oh,
everything is in
wow.
place, right? So I'm like, but I need you to come here because now I need to make sure that that you're not practicing from
From your
from
storage.
home, right?
from
So I'm at
storage.
work. I'm at work, and so I had to drove there, and so yeah,
where?
to my
where?
house.
Oh,
So
okay,
then
gotcha.
he's there. So then I got, and so he, you know, I took him into the garage. He, you know, it's all mess there. It's all mess. I'm like, you want to help me pick up the place there?
Yeah,
So
help me
now,
clean it up.
so then he told me that the reason why they do that is because people report. Dentists, chiropractors, or
Oh, yeah.
people in the health department that are practicing from home,
Yeah.
and especially with this movement that a lot of individuals move from, you know, came to El Paso from Juarez or in other places, right? And they're professionals over there,
Yeah.
and yet they're practicing here. So he had to do his job, right?
Yeah.
So I just had to draw from
Just to prove that you weren't
yeah,
working
we're
out
working,
your
yeah.
house.
So then from there on, then I figure, okay, well then that's it. I need to
go for
go
it.
for it, and then that's So that's back in May. Well, no, I got the license in May 2016. So that's when I started. I went in there, and then thank
The
God, you know,
inspector
it's,
got you going.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, different things, you know, that got me going in the sense of I had already made the investment. So the other thing that I could, I wanted to do it, and because my intentions was to and it still are, right, to establish a full diagnostic center.
Wow.
What I didn't know back then was that it was gonna be so hard to sell and to offer these scanning services of composition analysis, that at one point I quite forgot about it. And then I went back to my bread and butter, which is X-rays.
Okay.
So then I started offering, and it's a very good concept of like, for instance, you know, like you go to your doctor, right? I don't know, you're coughing too much, whatever, right? So you go there and then
We should
and
have
then
done
you
this
go-
from your
no,
place.
no, right. So then you go to the doctor, they check you out, and then doctor says, okay, you know, let's do a chest X-ray. And a lot of doctors here in town don't have that equipment there, you know. So then they refer you out. They send you to a hospital or to a diagnostic place. So then you, the patient, now you need to make another appointment, right? Now you need to go to another place to make an appointment to go get your chest X-ray. Once the chest X-ray is done, then you need to make another appointment to come back to your doctor, right?
Yeah.
For the results, and that's just a simplistic thing, because sometimes individuals where they have a high deductible, or the insurance is not going to cover the study. So you go through that
Sure.
process of dealing with insurances, right? So what I was proposing back then, right, I have a mobile X-ray machine. So I would go to the doctor and say, okay, doctor, look, this is, you understand the process, right? So what I offer is I'll come here, allocate 1 or 2 days out of the week, and instead of you sending your patients out,
Stay here.
we do them here, and we scan them here, we are X-ray them here, basic stuff. And so then that idea grew on them. And I was able to build a network of four
Nice.
doctors. Now with my limitations, I couldn't do more, right?
Yeah.
So then, but one going into a more of the legality aspect of those things, then I figured out that I was not gonna be able to fully or exponentially scale these things, right? At the same time, I mean, we still do that, right? I'm still doing it,
You're still
but
doing that.
at the same time, the momentum of the composition took off. So then I was like, oh man, I now have 2 companies within one.
Wow.
But so then
Same machinery.
so 3 different equipments.
3 different.
Wow.
Yes, but then what happens is that the ultrasounds and the X-rays, that's diagnostic. So I'm dealing with health-related conditions and procedures. The composition analysis and the metabolic testing, that's weight loss and fitness industry. So then at this particular point, I am in the process of separating or identifying two different
Wow.
entities. What happens is that, and to be honest with you, when people, like for instance, weight loss or fitness, whenever they see X-ray imaging, they truly don't relate to, oh,
Sure.
is it a scanning or is it metabolic? What is this X-ray imaging, right? So X-ray imaging is more suitable for, once again, imaging testing. Right? And like you have your sign bros, right? Like no one can get confused with your name, right?
Yeah.
And with X-ray imaging, I think that people might get confused. Oh, what do they do there?
Yeah.
Is it X-rays, ultrasounds,
Sure.
or
Yeah.
So
or
then,
it could even get, it can be even like Printing.
Imaging, right? So yeah.
Graphic design. Something.
Yes. So then at this particular point, I'm dealing with two concepts of the diagnostic imaging services and then the analytical imaging services. But
Wow.
that's
Well, right
how
now
we
you're
got to-
balancing them pretty good though.
Yes. So right now we're a group of three. So then, so I'm not an ultrasound technologist, so we have an ultrasound tech there, and she's awesome. She's amazing. Sometimes I want I'm talking to her, and then she's got these amazing ideas, and what I like about her is the way, and I have two ultrasound techs. They alternate. Both of them are very good in contributing to ideas.
To your
But
business,
the
yeah.
way that one of the things that I love about them is how the level of comprehension that they have with the patients, the way that they treat them, and this is not a thing of you go into a place, they scan you and bye bye, and
Yeah.
they will
No,
this
it's
is
very personal.
and you can check on our Facebook and Google reviews how people take the time to go and put in a good review on
nice.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So there I see how we're doing something good,
Yeah.
and then the other thing is that whenever they go to our office to do a study done, whether it's X-rays or ultrasound, these are patients or individuals with a condition, right? If they're on pain, on some type of distress, or maybe the doctor just wants to do a basic screening but the fact that they send you to do a test, you know that the patient might be in some type of anxiety, like,
Of
oh, what
course.
do I have,
Yeah.
So then at that particular point, we make it very personal. So in the way that we schedule appointments, and I've been criticized by other colleagues in the sense that you're it's all about the volume. At this particular point, no, because in my perspective or in our type of practice, we allocate time for each patient. So if we give them an appointment at 8 in the morning, they're gonna be seen at 8.
Mm-hmm.
There's no sitting and waiting
Nice.
and no. So then you go to an appointment, they give you an appointment at 8, and they see you at 9, right?
Or
So
10 or 11, yeah.
So then at this particular point, no. And the other thing is that we allocate the enough time. We already have it, and this is I don't know why. I mean, anyways, I'm not gonna talk about other places, but the data is simplistic, and data talks to you, right? So then, in an anticipation and understanding what is the time that it takes us to do a very quality diagnostic study, and then have the patient in a comfort level, and not make them feel like they're in a rush. We allocate enough time per patient, so there's never gonna be a patient waiting there for their appointment. So, and we tell them, look, if your appointment needs and we understand most people at the beginning, we give them, okay, your appointment needs at 8:30 at 8, and they were like, no, we tell them your appointment needs at 8, and they will get there at 7:15, and then they will tell us it's because I go to another place and I wait a lot, so might as well get there early. I'm like, no, not here.
In case someone doesn't show up, they can maybe slip in or something.
Yes, I'm like, no, we're here. So then, little by little, and then, I'm pretty sure it works here with you guys too. You guys do such a great job, and then people refer you, right? They do personal referral. So this is in the process. So then, coming back to these other. You know how this concept of saying, it's constructive criticism. I think it's criticism is criticism.
No matter
So
what.
yeah. So this constructive or not, it's the concept of how you take it.
Yeah.
So
of
you
course.
tell me what it is criticism. So depending on how I take it, right? But then they tell me, it's okay. So if you're allocating 1 hour per patient, that means you can only see 8 patients a day. So yeah, you're not gonna do good. I'm like, well, you're not seeing my point of view,
Gotcha.
So then, but so far, it's been effective.
Wow.
So then, right now, what we want is challenge the status quo, right? So challenge the process of insurances, challenge the waiting times, challenge the concept of when are my reports gonna be ready. So I started doing a research right here, and it comes to a liability issue. And let me explain this. You go to a place, and then they do whatever study it is, and they will have a hard time giving you the report or your images if you request for them.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So then they wait, okay, we're gonna send them to your doctor, or after our radiologist reads them, we will give them to you, and that's up to there. Everything is fine. We have to follow that protocol, right?
Okay.
But if the patient, whether it's through insurance or self-pay, they are paying for their service. It's a service that we're providing, right? Whenever they they ask for their results, we want to give them to them, if possible, the same day. The moment that we finish the study, we send them to the radiologist, and when the radiologist finishes with the report, we have it ready, and if the patient wants to come back or wait, we give them to them. That's their service. They have the right as a patient's rights. They have the right to have that information. Now, what they do with that information, that's where it's a gray line, and most institutions they are, because of that liability, they don't want to give them to them, because they say, okay, it's gonna say something there, and then you're gonna freak out, and then you're that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then at that point, it's like, okay, we're still gonna do what we have to do. What it is do the study, have a radiologist report, send it to your provider, because your provider ultimately is the one who order it, and then they need to give you the information. Now, if you want that information, you come and get it. We'll provide it to you. You pay for it, so it's yours. In that particular sense, that's another thing that we like to also educate the patient. And often I also, and this is something that a lot of patients tell me, oh, I went to this place and I told the tech, oh, did you see something? And then they tell me they cannot see anything, and I said, yeah, that's right. We as a technology, we cannot diagnose. We will get in big trouble, right? Like even if I see a very obvious fracture or whatever the case is, it's my ethical responsibility now, right? But if it's a question regarding, it's why are you shielding me, protecting me, or what are X-rays, or how does this work, or what are you gonna do? We wanna take the time to explain to you. Why do we shield? Why do we position the tube this way? Why do we position the patient this way? How many X-rays we're doing? All of it, right?
But even if you give a patient the results that same day, I mean, I would imagine that most of that stuff, the common person like me probably doesn't even know what it means anyways, unless someone explains it to you.
Yes, but correct, and that's why they have to go.
Yeah,
they have to go to the provider.
Which makes sense.
But the idea here is that and this is the conventional way of practicing medicine in the United States, is that most individuals, and when I say most, is by percentage, right? As a patient, we're not educated. Now we are seeing a little bit more education, because now information is everywhere,
free,
and now a lot of people, they self-diagnose, right? This hurts, Google, and what do I have, right? So then, but no, like
I'm dying.
yeah. So then it's like, if you want the information before going to your provider, from us you will have it. We give the information to you. Because it's a legal document signed by a registered certified radiologist, done by a certified technologist, right? And registered technologist. So it's high quality diagnostic services. Now, the way that you interpret that result,
It's up to you.
it's you and your provider, right? And what we always recommend is like, look, you're asking for these, because what we could also do is say, like, you know what, go to your provider, and your provider will give you your result. But we feel that that's not a good customer service type of thing. If the patient is paying for their service, and we're not breaking any law, any statute, any code.
Sure.
It's their information, right?
Yeah,
it's their information, but they pay for it. So if they want to have it just for records keeping, well, then there you have it, right?
Gotcha.
And we also we also like to communicate with the doctors who are trusting us now, because it's very hard to go out there and then tell the doctor, hey, doctor, we're doing these services. Well, I'm sending to this place. Why will I change? Well, what's different? And to be honest, the technology is not different. What is different is how we treat your patients.
Sure.
It's a one-to-one basis. It's once again, no waiting times, and we try to make the process of dealing with insurance is less overwhelming.
You said you're portable, but that's only to other doctors'
Doctors,
offices.
and then we do X-rays there in our office as well.
So like Carlos can't just call you and say, hey, can you bring your machine over here and
No,
test me?
well,
I'm watching the game. Come on over.
No,
Just
let me
can
tell
lay
you.
down
So-
and watch the game. And
So we do have a license by the state of Texas to provide mobile services. So wherever the client is, we can go to them, but we're not in that market.
Gotcha.
So we're not in that market because of the reimbursements for the insurances. But there's companies out there. Maybe I'm promoting them right now. But there's companies, mobile X-ray companies, that you can call them. And if you're on the comfort of your house and you don't want to go to the doctor, you call them and they show up with the mobile machine.
Oh, okay,
Now-
I was thinking maybe that's
That's what
something
he was
what you
wanting.
did, yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously a different rates and all of that,
I
right?
bet.
But we're not on that. We're not on that market.
Is that like
of
a whole
services.
different licensing, or why don't you do that?
We do have no. The only thing well, I don't have the logistics to go into that yet. So then the mobile equipment, right now I have it I rotated with 4 doctors, right?
Okay.
So then, let's just say if I'm allocated in I don't know, Monday on one particular doctor and we're doing X-rays and ultrasounds there, and a patient calls,
Oh, you can't just get up. And
I just
go.
cannot go, right? So then it's that, and then and then I don't have there we will be dealing with the billing, the what is this called, the insurance.
Sure.
And through the insurances, there's accreditations. So although we are in network with Medicare and other major commercial insurances, we don't have the credentialing to do mobile.
Okay.
So then if I let's just say that Carlos calls me, hey, I'm watching the game, can you come and do an X-ray? Like, yeah, we'll be there. But if I go there, I can bill your insurance for the chest X-ray, but I'm not gonna be able to bill for my travel
Sure,
and and all of that, because so then I will then have to charge
Then
you.
you have to charge
And-
him first.
and-
yeah,
yeah.
it's a little bit different.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
So then at that point we're just sticking to
Gotcha.
the basic.
Well, that keeps you busy, like you said. So.
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting right now, and then but I look at businesses like you guys. I mean, we know since
Long time.
long
Yeah,
time
we
ago,
go way
right?
back, man.
And
We
then
go way back.
I remember how how when you guys moved here to this location, and then well you guys started doing this in another place, right? In another
We worked, we worked doing
and
this at
once,
other places, yeah.
And then I'm like, wow. But it's encouraging, and now that I network with other business owners, is like, and I get to talk to them, and I always hear, yeah, at the beginning is rough, or I went through this, and when I'm going through that, it tells me that I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
You know what I
of
mean?
course, yeah.
So, but sometimes it's that Murphy's law. Whenever
Whatever can go wrong,
yeah,
will go
we
wrong.
go wrong. Like lately, I've been having those type of Murphy's visits, so I'm like punching him on the face, but just keep going. Yeah.
Wait, Julio. Oh,
Yes.
go ahead.
So you're a young guy. How old are you now, Julio?
I'm 36.
36.
Yes.
And what got you specifically into X-ray?
X-rays. So, boy, I come from Mexico, right? So
Go back as far as
Back
you want,
as-
man. Go back as far as you want, man.
So one day, my dad and my mom and
My
dad.
mom's
Way
like
back,
that's not a
way
twinkle
back.
in my mom's eye.
No, so then,
Not that far back.
so my mom moved to El Paso in '96. And then we stayed. We're from Delicias, Chihuahua, my brother and I, and we stayed over there. We had amazing, you're a teenager, so this is when you start developing your personality and your
Sure,
friends, right?
sure.
So my mom just had to, because of personal things over there. She had to move over here, and then she after a year after she moved to El Paso, she sent for us.
Oh, so she came here first.
She came for, yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
we stayed there with my aunt, and for a whole year, and then I guess my mom figured out, although my aunt provided everything for us through obviously supported by my mom, we the level of paying attention and being there, right? And I guess my mom saw the fact that we were not gonna be, I guess what she wanted it from us, right? So she sent for us. So I put her, God bless her, because I give her a hard time because I didn't want to move, right? So
So you didn't want to come.
no,
to
I
El
didn't
Paso.
want to go
Gotcha.
because of my friends, and
No,
I thought
sure.
I knew everything. You know what I mean?
I'm sure you have a little honey over there.
Yes.
There you go.
So then back then it's like, I
That's
don't want to. So then, anyway, so in '97 I came to El Paso. So I go into middle school and then from there high school, and but we were having back then in Delicias we were not rich, but my mom will provide for us very well. So there was no, or at least I can remember, no living paycheck to paycheck or anything like that. No, when we were here, it was a drastic change because of the culture and the way the living here in El Paso is, but also because of the economical aspect, right? But still, doing the effort of my mama working and whatnot. But it was rough times in the sense that, being a teenager, I didn't experience that when I was little. So then when I was in high school about to graduate, I knew I wanted to be in the medical field. So initially I thought, I want to be a doctor, right? An orthopedic. That was back then I was thinking. But it came to the realization that, and these are different timings. Back then in the late 90s, early 2000s, I saw that I needed to generate income. So although I wanted to seek an actual college education, right, I needed to stick to something in the technical aspect of the medical field. Something I wanted to do it quick that could generate me money to keep going, and because I didn't want to be living patient after patient, right? So then I did my research. And then I got into the X-ray. So I went and shadow some X-ray technologists, and then they teach me what they were doing. I'm like, okay, this is it. So then I went, as soon as I graduated, I went like crazy. Like there was no tomorrow. So I started taking a lot of classes. So my problem back then, and I joke about this, right? I mean, I cannot deny my heavy accent. So back then it was hard because I was still learning the language, right? Yeah. So then, so then I had to take a lot of classes for those basics in college, right? So then they told me, okay, look, the X-ray program is so long, but because you need to take a lot of English classes, it's gonna be this long. I'm like, nah. But I had to do it, right? So then I was taking classes like crazy. So I remember one of the counselors there at the college. She told me, look, this is a very competitive program. So right now we have a ranking, and I'm talking back in 2001. There is a ranking. There's 400 people ranking for the X-ray program, and only 16 make it. I'm like, I'll be one of them. And then nice. He says, good luck, but I didn't feel like that good luck, So I know. Good luck. So then. One day, I was waiting for this letter of acceptance, and people have because I will talk to other individuals, and they tell me, look, Julio, if you receive a large envelope in the mail, you're in, and if you see a small one, that's it, right? So every day I will go there, and then one day I open up the mailbox and I see a little envelope with the logo of EPCC. A little envelope, and then there, like, my heart, like, yeah. So I opened it, and he said, congratulations, you're in. I'm like, what the heck?
So did he tell you that on purpose, just to try to?
No, I don't know.
To psych you out?
You know what? It could be, but I never my level of excitement was so big that I not even think about
Hey,
so I know, right? So then I once again met with this counselor, and I told him, this was not needed of my part, but I happened to go to the office to do whatever it was, and then I saw him, and I told him, hey, I got in. You don't remember what you told me, because they see thousands of students, right? Yeah. And then he was like, no, well, congratulations, right? But it was so, to me, it was impactful, like the way that he told me, right? So anyways, I become an X-ray technologist. I go through the program, and I started working at locus, clinics here, and thank God I started doing very well, generating good income as an X-ray technologist, putting in overtime, and then when I got married, and then so I was doing just great. So I started. I went back to school to get my bachelor's in radiology science. So then at one point it's like, okay, what's next? Because I felt in a comfort zone, and sometimes it's sad because I was driving home, and don't mind, like, I had good income. I mean, everything was what everyone could ask for, right? Yeah. And then I remember at points like praying for for God to allow me to get to a certain level, that I realized, hey, everything that I pray for, I already have. So I was grateful, and thankful to God. And then recognizing that the effort was there. I put the effort, but I'm like, in a personal level, I need to do something else. So then this is where this loose screw then trying to open up a business, and I'm like, so I did with my brother my first entrepreneur adventure at the outlets. And this is back in 2013. There was these panels. There's these plastic panels that you interlock, and then you spray this chemical. It's water based, but what happens is that it makes the panels very sleek. So then with actual ice skates, you're skating. Well, you're not skating. You're actually gliding. I already went and looked into the actual physics and science behind that. So then we call that fun glide. And people will go there and then get on their actual ice skates, and then they were skating or gliding on plastic. And we were where that big store with the H&M, right? The H&M store there. That's where the place was. But we were only there for
during the holidays.
During the holidays, yes. And that was my first, but we were not profitable. The rent was substantial, right? And then we had a horrible winter. It was horrible winter, so there was a lot of cold winds, and then we had a lot of rain in that winter. So since we were outside, right, people will not go there. And then the guys from the outlets, I forget his name, but they were awesome in supporting us, so I hope he eventually sees this, and I thank you for his support. Yeah, for his support back then. Once again, we were so immature in the sense of putting in a business that we obviously decided to cut it off,
it was worth a good try.
Yeah, count our losses, and then that's it. So then I'm like, okay, I still want to keep going, so I'm not gonna go into an industry that I don't know. And so what I know X-rays. So then I start thinking, okay, how can I improve? I don't want to be doing or offer the same thing that other places are doing. And this is where I started thinking about the mobile, bringing it to the doctors instead of the doctor standing out. And then I came across with the composition analysis. So then that one was a great hit right there. So then that's the story. How I don't have because I go and when I talk to other individuals, they tell me, oh, this is how I started. Like I was doing very bad, and then one idea, and then with me it was just like, okay, the wanting to do something.
Wanting to do something. That's awesome, man.
Wanted to go to the next level.
The next level.
Next challenge.
I like we know your mom. We know your family very well from way long time ago, man. And your mom is I don't know what she did to you guys, man, but she did something right.
Always did a good
thing. She did something right. No, I mean, you guys. I've always seen you guys. Since we've known you, you guys. It just seemed to me like you guys just had your goals set, and you guys you weren't
educated.
Educated. You didn't let anything stop you from.
Respectful, always good.
Oh yeah, and your brother is very successful as well.
Yeah,
as far as what I hear.
Yeah, he's doing awesome. He's doing awesome in his accounting. He's got a bookkeeping services, and then he's an accountant.
And you have some cousins in like NASA and stuff.
Yeah, I guess these. I was gonna like, hey, what's up there with?
Maybe we can get him on here, man.
Yeah, no. So I have Carlos. Tu tocayo, right? Carlos.
I don't think I ever met him, but maybe Carlos did.
Yeah. So my cousins. We all from two of them. They're brothers, right? So. So then they, from Delicias, they one of them was born in LA, and then the other one in Las Cruces. So they, and then when my tia was here, then she moved to Delicias, and then they grew up there. They did their school over there. Now the oldest one, Carlos, once he finishes his high school, he came in being an American citizen. He applied to UTEP, and then he did his engineer career here in UTEP. Wow. And they have a very good, successful program. But this guy, he had like a different mental, So he managed to get an internship at NASA in Pasadena, and then he goes there. And this is as a student. So they like his work, and when he graduated, they offered him a job in NASA in Houston, and he's there. Wow. So then he's doing an amazing an amazing job. So whenever you guys go to Houston, he can call him, and then he gives you this VIP tour. No, it's amazing.
Really?
So
Yeah,
you go
okay.
into you
That
go into
sounds-
you go into places that
Houston.
Houston?
that the public cannot access. So he gets you in there.
Wow.
So this one time we go there, I just couldn't like comprehend that I was in a place where history happened, and I was actually like physically. And you know, some other individuals think that was all set up, that it never happened.
Yeah.
But when you go there and then you actually see physical evidence, right? But I was thinking, but thanks to Carlos that he got us in there and then saw
Wow.
things that, you know.
And what'd you say? Were you
Awesome,
passing out cards to the astronauts saying, "Hey, I can give you a
Full
full body
full body
composition"?
Call me and I'll come to you.
Yeah, I know, right?
He's the
So
one
take
that-
me to
he's
space.
the one that designed your logo.
No,
too?
the youngest one.
Oh, it's the youngest one.
Yeah, so then the youngest one also study engineer. I don't know. I think Carlos studied mechanical engineer, and I might be wrong, but or Eric. But then whenever and here is also who you know, right?
Mhm.
So then Carlos already being and performing an outstanding other at NASA. So when Eric graduated, so he had the
Yeah,
connection.
Wow.
So boom, he got in there easy.
So he got
But-
him in there.
but-
So
but-
they're both at NASA.
Carlos right now is not. So he so he's in Harvard right now doing his master's in, I forgot what.
Some kind of
Some
engineering.
kind of
Long
engineering,
name.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Long
know
name.
like
But he wants to go back to NASA, or
So-
He probably already has it already
No,
set
well,
up there, right?
the way that he told me that the
They
way
sent
it works is that they don't, because it's a school, they like pause his
Internship
Like a sabbatical or
No, no,
something.
Is he
he's-
already
he's-
working?
he's working.
He was
He's still
working.
an employee there,
Mhm.
but they're holding his
It's like a
job.
sabbatical.
Position while he goes
Yeah,
I think it's called
sabbatical.
sabbatical.
So then he goes, and when he comes back, I don't know what his plans are. I will assume he wants to pursue. Well, I remember. I think he wants to do some type going in there, some type of administration in NASA. But yeah.
Wow.
So
So
there's
if he has any, if there's like janitor space, I'll go and be a janitor if I need to.
no, that place is amazing.
Plus, remember that
Five,
I'm gonna be in
man.
Houston in November. Yeah.
Oh no, let's do it right here.
Set it up, there you
We'll
go.
put him in the spot right now, right? Okay.
And speaking of how to get a hold of people, how do we get a hold of you and
Yeah,
your
man.
business?
So I'm trying to be all over the place in the sense that, you know, we have our website, xrimagingep.com. There in the website we have this booking app. It's a HIPAA approved or certified, where patients can book their own appointment. That's another thing. Like, you don't have to, you know, call and see if it's gonna get approved. You just go there, XR Imaging EP.
Okay, right
You select the study that you need, put in your information. Once again, it's secure. It's HIPAA approved for personal information, and then you pick the day and time that you want, and boom, you're
Wow.
all set. You can also call us. You know, people don't. Some people, for those people that don't like. Online, you go back to the old call. You know, you pick up the phone at 915-613-2748, and then we're in social media in Facebook as XR Imaging, and then in Instagram XR Imaging EP. So that's
Okay,
how
there it
you
is.
can, one way or
Wow.
another. Yeah, you can find
Very
us.
cool.
Wow.
we learned a lot
Interesting.
today.
Yeah, man, that was most of that was over here, man. But
No, man,
No,
thanks,
no,
thanks
it's-
for the
it's good
invite.
to hear
It's
your
because
story, man.
spaces like these, they truly help in creating engagement, and then people getting to know get the information, and then learn about the aspect. You know, once you told me about it, I went in and saw this. I'm gonna go there to what is Papito, right? The barber.
bless-
Barber, there you go.
Yeah. So when he mentioned his rate, I'm like, oh, okay, but he must be
He's doing
good,
good.
right?
Yeah, there's
He's
a
the man.
reason nobody can just charge that much and not be good, man.
No, and in understanding the service, I'm pretty sure, like, I mean, it's you find the value on paying. Some people, I'm pretty sure you guys get that as well. Well, do you have a discount, right? And you know, but then at this particular point, it's like, okay, if you find the value on what you're getting, you know, you'll pay.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm pretty sure this Papito guy will be. I'll get to see him soon.
Cool, man.
Very
Well, we
good.
want to thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Julio, for joining us. And
Hey,
Thank you
good
for the
seeing
invite.
Once again, we
guys,
are
you guys
the-
are awesome.
No
we are the
problem,
Sign
man.
Bros. Make sure to subscribe, and we are all up in your business. We're signing off.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Sign Bros is the